Hello everyone, Gerone Wright is here on this December 21st, 2012 date to describe in as much detail as I possibly can, to the best of my ability, through my paranormal experience and encounter, which I have already acknowledged that I have, about how pyramids was built. And this is the reason why you see the image here of an Egyptian pyramid, of pyramids. Okay, I'm going to describe in this video not just about Egyptian pyramids, but about structures in Angkor Wat. Let me back this off some so you can. This is an Angkor Wat. Oh, here you go. Here. This is an Angkor Wat structure here. I'm going to describe how that was built. Let me go back up larger again here. And the Mayan temple. I'm going to describe what inspired the building of the Mayan temple. Okay. And then I'm going to describe that of temple ruins that I've discovered that have not been acknowledged yet, but I have had them posted for some time. And this is the Brahma temple in the Grand Canyon, right here, which I've discovered and have shown in multiple videos of mine already released, that these are temples and sculptures up top the Grand Canyon, and in this specific location is a Brahma temple. And basically what is there are here. Hold on, let me get this over some. And this is, my hand is over to, okay, let me take my hand away. This is actually one side of the temple, and here is the other, which has a, where my finger at here, like a seashell type object on top, and these are like descending stairs, which, oh gosh, I gotta get my finger over, descending stairs there, which I actually drew in and showed you actually was there. And I can see these images on the stone. Okay, you have here, you have a carved great white shark, which actually has feet, and there's a face. Some of these images are still there and can be verified, not just through archive images of the Grand Canyon, but multiple tourist photos, government photos. Okay, and plus on top of that, a lot of this erosion has not taken its full course yet, so a lot of the verification can still be made on these images, okay, that I have discovered. Okay, and this is at top of the Grand Canyon, which I'll explain a little bit more in the detail later. I do have almost 90 videos here, so if you want to know more about that, you can actually scroll down through my 90, I think it's almost 90 plus videos that I have here. So look at each one of my videos if you want to get a better idea of how I'm able to do this. But it's also my position that at each one of these temple locations that I've just shown you, and some I didn't, is that they represent the evolutionary ancestor, which is actually on that location, and each location is during an evolutionary time. Like I'm claiming that we have oceanic ancestors that actually evolved from the ocean in earliest times, and this is how I arrived at all life actually evolved through the Grand Canyon. And I'm going to try to explain as much as that as I can today as well too in this video. And at Angkor Wat, it was a reptilian presence, which I've described in earlier presence, which actually lends to why Angkor Wat is designed in its presence and in its appearance and how it looks. It actually all of the building designs there, which I actually showed you here, in this eave. Let me get over here. Because I'm tired of looking upside down and letting my finger fly all over this. Like here in the eave, there's the head of a turtle looking up, and in the eave, the body of the turtle, its shell is right here going off in the eave on either side there, and on the other side it's the same thing. You have a turtle head, and then you have the shell of the turtle going off. This is a new discovery. Nobody has ever knew this before until I made this discovery here in one of my videos here on YouTube. The entire building of Angkor Wat, the building construction of Angkor Wat, is designed that of the scaly presence of a reptilian's body. The entire Angkor Wat, the city, the civilization of Angkor Wat, that location. If you look at the buildings, the way the blocks are placed in these structures are to give the presence of that of reptilian, like a scaly body of a reptilian. And this is why this building is fashioned in that way, symbolizing that there was a reptilian, an ancestral reptilian presence, bloodline, evolution through that area. And based on that, the architects of these buildings actually had a sense of awareness of that of reptilian. And this is why the building looks that way. Not just a sense, an instinct, and the vision of that of a reptilian, meaning that the architect, the builder himself, was pretty much that of being that of a reptilian, and this is why this building came out this way. Now, I'm going to go on because I'm going to take you back to the pyramids. I'm seeing a face here. That's the reason why you hear me hesitating here, because I see a face, and then let me follow my finger over, and I'm going to have to come back to that because I can see a face right there as I'm actually talking with you. Now, I done showed you other things on this, but I have an Angkor Wat video, so you can actually take and look at my videos. I'm going to get back to the pyramids because I know you want to know how pyramids were built. Now, I've been meaning for some time to put these images up and disclose how pyramids were built, and I sensed it some time ago, and I've been meaning to do it, but I've been waiting to go ahead and wait till all my discoveries went full blown here and went viral here on YouTube, and I was fully discovered, and wait for that day and say how pyramids was built. But I said perhaps maybe this might be the video that goes viral, and perhaps I'll become more famous for what I'm doing by just divulging this. First of all, who were the builders of the pyramids? Well, actually, it's actually written on the wall. The ancestors, the original architects that built this pyramid, is actually written on the wall. But let me tell you how, through my instinctive paranormal experience and encounter, I'm drawn to this. I can look at this building and I can tell you instinctively how it was made through my paranormal experience and encounter. Now, feeling that and knowing that is what gives me the sense to go in and verify everything that I have already been feeling before it is already there. Other than that, I would just be looking at writings on the walls, as scholars have for so many years, but yet haven't been able to figure out how these pyramids were built. Now, you have had many theories out there, many, and I mean some of them are damn good, to be quite honest with you. However, none of them can be as great as mine, and I'm not patting myself on the back, but everything that I am telling you, I mean, if you hear me out, it's logical, very logical. It's beyond logical. It makes sense. It's just, I mean, it's like almost like absolute. You say like, God, this guy, I mean, something is going on with this guy. Now, let me tell you how this pyramid was built. I'm going to describe this because I don't want to run out of time here. I don't know how long this video can be either. I've been capping them off at 30 minutes. I'm 9 minutes into it now. Who were the master inspirers? Who was the inspirers of the master architects of these pyramids? I'm going to tell you who it was. The teachers were creatures of our world. I'm going to give you number 1 were ants. Number 2, the beetle. Number 3, termites. Okay, this is how these pyramids were built. And you probably said, "My gosh, Jerome, how in the world?" I mean, think about it. I'm gonna try to describe it as best as I can because I don't have a script here, so I'm freelancing all of this, okay, and I'm without a script. So just bear with me and make sense of it. These blocks, each one of these blocks weigh what, anywhere from 2 to 20 tons each. They were elevated into place, and not by no aliens, and not by brute force, but which they could have been placed in by brute force, because nobody has addressed the fact that earlier back in our evolutionary passage, our ancestors would have been more greater in strength, being because they were closer to that of our originating ancestor, of that of the ape. So therefore, man today is probably 30 to 40 times more weaker than man in earlier was, because closer to our ancestral ape, you would have been 10, maybe 15 times stronger. So perhaps, let's say, I'm going to give it a roundabout number, 7 to 10 men back then could have possibly placed one of them in one of those blocks and by hand them alone, based on just their strength capacity back then. So think about it, people. That's logic. You never have heard that before. Never. Why do I know this? Because I am instinctively drawn to this. It's like I was there. It's like I built the pyramid myself. However, that's just a theory. I'm going to give you fact. How I know that the inspirers of this were actually insects of our world. First of all, if you look at this, it looks like a mound of that of an ant or of a termite, okay, or of a beetle for that sake. This pyramid was built in a canal, a man-made canal. The canal was tied in from neighboring water bodies, land. Well, first of all, let me keep going with that, because I'm going to tell you that how location was known. I'm going to be all over the place with this, so let me just go with this here. This location was selected because it has a celestial alien presence connected with that of space. How do I know that? Because I know that instinctively through my own experience and encounter. There are locations that are tied with our world and with space. And this is the reason why these locations are in celestial alignment with places in space in our solar system. Okay? The energies from those places in space are projected from space onto these locations. And a person that is paranormally and instinctively connected, when guided, can be guided to these locations and know where they are, like I can. Okay? Now, trust me on this, because I know, because there are locations in our world today, that of several of them which I have already discovered that nobody knows anything about. There can be communications to be made, which I have done. Okay? And this is why this almost telepathic like and paranormal like way of communicating is here. I could go there and show you how these lines of communications can be opened up, and I can show you new places as well. Okay, now let me get past that and go back to how this pyramid was built. Okay, now, and the writings, by the way, people, are on the wall. I'm going to show you. I might have to make 2 parts to this video to actually show you. Canals were made from neighboring water bodies to this. This pyramid was built in a canal, a man-made canal, okay, which actually was utilized. The canal was made with a dam, with the style of that of which a beaver would do. Okay, the bodies of blocks at the bottom were put in. Okay, the masses of these blocks were actually rolled in. They were rolled in the form, in the fashion, in the form of that of our ancestors, of which a beetle would do. Okay, a dung beetle, in other words. And I'm going to show you something to verify that. These blocks were not cut and moved in a rock quarry. These blocks were in their softened state when they were actually placed into place, and almost like a clay builder, like Play-Doh. They were made pretty much and hardened on site. How do I know this? Because in Egyptian glyphs, they describe how they were done. But the reason why you don't identify with it, because you don't know who our ancestors were. I know who they were. Here, let me explain to you. They tried to tell you that the scarab represented death and the underworld. This kind of bull is what actually keeps you from seeing the truth. This dung beetle represents ancestors that evolved in a time that is far beyond anything that is even comprehensible to us. They are showing you that this dung beetle taught them. You see that circle, that red object, which looks like a sun? It is not. You see this dung-like creature here next to the larger ball, showing you that these objects were rolled in. And why is it on this block, on this Egyptian temple, in this Egyptian pyramid? It's showing you that this block was created, and it was created through the teachings of them watching their ancestral dung beetle. They learned how to build these pyramids from that of the dung beetle. Why is this object, this circular object, red? You know why? Because it represents that of lava. Volcanic lava mass. These balls were cooled to a place where they could handle and be rolled in, placed in, and then take and formed as they harden, like clay. And that's how these blocks were actually formed, and that's how these masses were actually moved around. Makes good sense, don't it? These writings are everywhere. Okay? I'm going to show you something else. Water was used. I'm going to try to touch on everything, people. I know I'm all over the place. I call them water vaders, which is a water elevator. Barges and ships were used. These pyramids, there is evidence of there being flooding, and they said that it was actually for security purposes. If you move a block, your pyramid would flood. It's not the case. The reason why these blocks were in place, and if you move them, is because there was an elevation system used with water. These channels and these canals that these pyramids were purposely built in, these man-made canals that they were built in, there was an off and on valve that allowed water to come in. And when the pyramid, they would use the elevation of the water within through tide levels and through control levels to actually rise up and actually place these stones in place. It was an elevator. I call it a water vader. Okay, and that's how these pyramids were actually built. These stones would rise up. Well, what was used inside to do this? They would use barges, man-made barges, and man-made ships on the inside and float, and these objects would be lifted to where they can actually be put in place from the outside and from the inside, and they were actually raised up. Now, I know this is fascinating, people. Now, ship, evidence of ship. If I recollect properly, there was actually a ship found at the foot of or in one of these pyramids. Okay, do you want to believe that they put that ship in there for a king to be taken into afterlife, or that ship was in there being commemorated because it was actually in a boxed and enclosed in area, which actually was a water vader, a water elevator, where it rised And that ship, when this pyramid was complete, the ship was actually left in its own almost similar like sarcophagus, which actually would have been a elevator shaft, which actually allowed this ship to rise out of and dock in, as this pyramid was being filled with water to rise to the heights to completion. I know, people, it sounds damn good. It's almost like if I built this pyramid myself. Now I'm going to move on because I spent a lot of time on this already. So I want to move on. Now I know how these materials would have been gotten to higher elevation levels, meaning above sea levels, maybe even up to 7,000 feet above and all. People, it's like I was there through my paranormal experience and encounter. Let me see here. Let's go to Angkor Wat right quick. Remember that I told you that Angkor Wat has the appearance of that of reptilian all through this. Okay? And it's already in my discoveries. There's the turtle head there, and there's the turtle's body, and over here there's another turtle there, and then there's the turtle's body, which I actually told you. The reptilian presence of this building, the scale-like appearance, it represents the oval body of our reptilian ancestors, which was a strong presence there at this time. And this is what the whole development of Angkor Wat represents. I can read what is in these structures because they are glyphs, just like there are glyphs in Egypt. I can read these because I am a part of this. What I have shown you of that of being in Egypt and being here, I am spiritually connected to all of this. As I have revealed in other videos, in another video, that I have spiritually became linked to everything that I am showing you, and everything that I am showing you, I am. Okay? And the knowledge is within me. I want to take you to my Grand Canyon discovery. I'm hoping I know. Oh, hold on. Let me take you to the Mayan temple first. I'm going to take you to the Mayan temple. The Mayan temple, or this is just one of them, is fashioned after that of our oceanic ancestors, which evolved through the Grand Canyon, where I'm alleging that all life form evolved from. Similar to that, and on the level of that of being Atlantis. Because why I say Atlantis is because our ancestors at the Grand Canyon, or atop the Grand Canyon, that no one knew about until I brought them to the attention of the world, because my videos are worldwide, were part human and part fish, as I am showing you here. This great white shark, this carving right there, that is at the Brahma temple, that's right there that I can see, that is right, would be right about here. If you Google that image, it's right there at the foot. You will see that there is a base, and you will see rock carvings. That shark shows how that shark evolved, and then there's a larger fish-like coming up around the side here. And then it shows you how it ultimately evolved into the likeness of these beings, which shows that man evolved from the creatures below. It's a glyph. Okay? This is not only the one location. If you go to my sites, you will actually see. Even on my Facebook page, if you Google my name, you will see on my timeline on my Facebook page that there are also other locations at the Grand Canyon. Also Black Hills, South Dakota. Here, the shell atop the Brahma temple And like I said, this stair casing, which has actually looked like it's slid down, but I put the lines back in there to give the appearance of steps being there. All of this here, people, were our forefathers, or well, I can't say forefathers, but our four ancestors. And there were presences in the Grand Canyon that was before time, and these were the first evolutionary phases of our ancestors right here, because they were part fish and part man. Alright, I can go back further than this and show you other ancestors that even actually were before this. Okay, I can take you from the beginning through to present in systematic order, and can tell you how they arrived and which creatures contributed to our creation. Now, here's another look at the Grand Canyon. Look at this, people. Oh, I'm going to lift this up some. Look at this from a distance, and now that I have shown you. Look at the face here. Okay, I added the hair. Well, I added the hair in the other video, in the other image, which is right there. I colored the hair in to show you that there's a face. When you Google this image, the Brahmasaurus, you can hone in on now and see the face and the nose and the highlights that I've actually made. Once shown, you actually see. Look at the little faces over here. Hairlines and faces off to the side. There's the great white shark, and then there's the other creature that's shown where it goes up, and it actually has its mouth open at the nose of this face right here. Here, on this temple, the shell like up on top. And then now you'll be able to, as I showed you these other images, you will be able to see faces that are actually carved in the face, and it shows you our evolutionary ancestors, which actually came before anything Egyptian, anything Hindu, or anything else. You know what I mean? This was first, before there was this, that, and that. Now, let me go back to the Mayan temple where I was at. The Mayan temples. You see the Mayan temple? Came from, you see that stair casing right there that's sliding down? How do I know that the Mayan temple is actually created in likeness of this? See the shell at top? The shell right here at the top? Look at this here, this stair casing right there that slid away. It's not there. Right there. You see that, people? This is up top, the Grand Canyon, in a place that this should not be. This is how the building and designs came for the Mayan temples for that location in the Grand Canyon area. Now, each and every location represents our evolutionary ancestor that created it. Now, I know that I'm missing some stuff here. I'm going to make sure that I touch base on a little bit of everything here. Let me read from my notes. I'm going. Alright. Now, I think I touched base on a little bit of everything. I'm only going to run into a few minutes here. These locations represents the creatures that created them. Now, the location itself is based on being discovered and being utilized to build these pyramids based on the instinctive, multidimensional awareness of the creature, our ancestral creature that created this. So in other words, that of our oceanic ancestor selected this location based on its instinctive awareness and connection with our planet and its celestial alignment with that in space. Just like whales know to instinctively navigate our planet, would be the same way that our ancestors instinctively knew how to align themselves with that in space and that of these locations. And that can be applied to that of Angkor Wat and the Great Pyramids in Egypt and all other locations around our globe. Now, I know this is pretty amazing, and I know that you're going to find it amazing and all, but I ask that you be more than amazed. I ask that you help me go viral with this, because there is a lot more that I can share with you, because I am truly connected with this. I cannot stress enough the fact that I was out of body experience. I was taken out of my body in full mid-noon and taken up into space, and I look back on our world from space. There is something else there that I wanted to show you also. Oh, the Pyramid of Giza. Why do you think that there is a giant beetle in Egypt being symbolized on a block? It lets you know that this creature was the inspiration for the building of the entire, everything that is behind it and the block that it is on. It's a dung beetle. The technique, the styles, and everything for rolling these giant masses into place is telling you that the dung beetle was the creator, the master creator of these locations. It was their teacher. If our ancestors didn't have the knowledge to build these pyramid type structures on their own, look at this, people. This is a termite structure. Wouldn't it only be logical that if you didn't know how to build something, and these were survivors of our planet, wouldn't it only be logical that you look to them for building and construction of your own sanctuaries? Why wouldn't a person have common knowledge to actually think of this? You know why? Because we are taught to believe otherwise based on what the scholars, the information that modern day science has given us, rather than use logic in ourselves. And in my case, I'm spiritually connected to it. So all I have to do is experience it and then go out and show it to you, and this is how I can explain it to you. I'm going to have to end this video. Now, I'm going to try to end this. I hope this video actually, I was inspired to make. Hold on, let me back up. This is me in one picture from earlier on, and this is almost current. I was inspired to make this. This includes oceanic, reptilian, dinosaur, everything of the above is in here. There's an Egyptian ox there on the cobra. There's a Christianic cross there with a head on it on a cobra. I mean on a boa constrictor. And then over here there's crosses. Also there's a Gothic-like cross that is created into my nose, and then there's an eye in the middle. That eye is one of the eyes of this woman. Oh, let me see if I can bring her up. That is on my arm. And I don't know if you can see her face there. Yeah, you possibly can. Right here. There's a reptilian woman there on my arm right there. All of these images, people, appeared on me for me to draw, and I was inspired to do this. Here, our reptilian ancestors. Here, you can possibly not see. There's a whole face there. There's another face looking down, and then there's one over here looking toward me. 3 faces here, these reptilian faces. I know that it looks trivial, it looks a little bizarre, but all of this is what inspired Leonardo da Vinci and many others to do their masterful paintings that they actually have. Their multi-dimensional sense of awareness, which I now have, is what allows me to decode their paintings. Every Renaissance artist painting I can decode based on my knowledge of what allowed me to do this. I can see through things, people, that normally no one would be able to see through. But what's great about this is that I can see these things and I can highlight them for you to see. And this is my true story. My name is Gerone Wright. I have over almost just close to 90 videos here. People, if you haven't seen my videos, see them. And please share this video with others. I'm going to stop this here, hoping that I'm 34 minutes into this. I hope that this video would actually take. Thank you, people, and I appreciate you. And hopefully you'll share this with others.